Hey guys, so apologies for not getting to this a little bit earlier, but it's been a pretty hectic week for me. Today we're going to talk about the other update coming on the 12th, the Division Patch 1.1. A lot of stuff to cover, so let's start. First up is the new Incursion Falcon Lost. Incursions are a new endgame mode in the Division for players decked out in full high-end gear, or very close to it. You must be level 30 and you must have completed the General Assembly story mission. At the moment, Falcon Lost appears to be wave-based, 15 waves of enemies followed by a boss. It will have a hard mode and a challenge mode, but that's not really in addition to normal mode. Normal mode is the hard mode, technically speaking. It has been repeated many times that Falcon Lost is supposed to be really hard. There have been many articles and such about how even the lead designer hasn't completed it, how the hard mode is harder than the challenge missions. Hard mode will have matchmaking, but the challenge mode will not. There is a gear score recommendation, and you won't be matched with players that are below the score. I think that's what they were trying to say. There are no checkpoints, so if you wipe, you start over. There are no loot limits on Falcon Lost, but the first time you do it each week will reward a very good item, and then additional clears will reward a not as high level item, but still good. You know how if you run the challenge mission for the first time in a day, you get 30 bonus credits, and then following runs you get 20? It's like that, except with gear. Speaking of gear score will replace item level at level 30 to give a better indication of how powerful the item is and how powerful your character is. Players will display their gear score instead of their level after level 30. Speaking of high level gear sets are being introduced into the division. Set gear will drop from the hardest content in the game. There are 4 different gear sets being introduced with patch 1.1 as we can see here, and most of the set bonuses are pretty good. Striker is for general DPS, Nomad appears to be more for survivability and only comes from the Dark Zone, Tactician's Authority is for electronics builds, and Sentry's Call is for sniper and marksman play. Nomad seems to be the weakest of the gear sets. The scavenging bonus isn't that great, or at least it doesn't appear to be, but the main bonus definitely serves its purpose in the Dark Zone. It'll be interesting to see electronics and skill power based builds moving into the next patch in PvE, especially because Smart Cover no longer stacks as of patch 1.1, which, if you recall, allowed you to do really ridiculous things. Moving to our next topic, assignments are daily and weekly missions that are automatically obtained upon logging in. There are combat assignments, dark zone assignments, and crafting assignments, and they will reward various items. Most of these assignments can be done solo, but a couple might require the help of some teammates. Next, the Dark Zone is getting supply drops. Supply drops are packages that will drop in certain locations at certain times or random times, and they will contain high-level items. The kicker is that these are non-contaminated items, so as soon as you get them, you're set. You don't need to extract them. I believe that as long as your group gets to the supply, you get all of the items. Either way, in case of a loot incident, you can now trade items with teammates. Here's how trading works. When you get an item drop, you are allowed to trade that item to other people who were in your team at the time of the item drop within 2 hours of it dropping. So no, you cannot just give loot to anyone. Simply drop it from your inventory to give the item to someone who is eligible to get it. This is probably the best way to go about trading in a game like this. Many other games handle trading in a very similar fashion. Next up, we have Phoenix credit adjustments. Now, starting with patch 1.1, the higher the level of the named elite you kill, the more credits you gain. So 3 to 5 credits for a level 32, 1 to 3 for a level 30, for example. Also, high-end items no longer require Phoenix credits to recalibrate, but rather use regular credits. The DZ06 vendor now uses Dark Zone credits instead of Phoenix credits to buy things. Speaking of which, the DZ vendors have had their rank requirements reduced. Purple items require rank 15, high-end level 30 items are rank 25, and high-end level 31 items are rank 40. The Dark Zone also gets a new bracket for people over 160 gear score. Next are what were considered some pretty dreaded changes to crafting. This is going to sound bad, but it's followed by good news, so just hang on. the cost of converting materials to higher quality ones has increased dramatically. It's now 10 greens to make a blue, 15 blues to make a gold, and now it's 10 golds instead of 8 to make a high-end level 31 item. Deconstructing a green or high-end item now only gives 1 material instead of 2. New level 31 and level 32 blueprints were added to vendors, and division tech requirements on some level 31 items have been removed. So I first saw that, and I was pretty bummed out, as were a lot of the community. A lot of questions being asked. But then, the devs posted some more notes a couple of days later. Why they waited so long to post them, I have no idea. But here are the major loot changes. Named elites now always drop a high-end item whenever you kill them. Division tech drop rates have increased, and there have been modifications to loot tables for the named NPCs to make loot hunting more consistent. So these changes were made because, well, the drop rates sucked for high-end items, like really badly. It was not fun to go grind for hours and get nothing. The majority of high-end items came from crafting, then from vendors, then from killing things. So Ubisoft wanted to flip that around to make it so killing stuff is the most efficient way to get high-end items, then have people use crafting as a way to pick up the slack on any pieces of gear that they might need, that last piece or whatever. So they have indeed learned that they needed to Diabloify their drops from killing stuff. They have done so, and hopefully this will make grinding actually worthwhile. A nice quality of life change is that now, when you're dead, you can spectate your teammates instead of just staring at your own dead corpse, then having the camera rotate randomly to the guy who killed you. So, that's nice. A couple of high-end named weapons were added to the game, the Warlord Assault Rifle and the Valkyria Submachine Gun, so be on the lookout for those. Then we have a lot of bug fixes, most of which don't really need to be read. The issue of players being locked out of their account due to having too many items in their inventory, or the backpack bug, has been fixed. So if you've been locked out, you should finally have access back to your own account. Jeez, what a ridiculous bug. Like I said earlier, you cannot stack smart cover anymore. That's not going to work. The rest of the bug fixes are in the description if you want to check them out. That is your, as brief as I could make them, patch notes and changes coming to the Division on the 12th. As for my thoughts, yeah, I am down with a lot of these changes and additions. I have not logged on the Division in a little while, maybe about a week and a half, partly because I've been playing other stuff, but mainly because I just was not enjoying the grind. The challenge missions weren't doing it for me, good loot was too uncommon, and going in a circle in the Dark Zone wasn't my idea of a thrill. I was not happy with the crafting changes at first, but once they explained their reasons and explained the new loot drop system, I became significantly more fine with it. I understand what they're trying to do now, and I think it's going to work out for the best. This entire update is a great quality of life update for the Division. New endgame activity, new gear, assignments are cool, Dark Zone supply drops are a nice thing to add to the experience. Yeah, very, very solid first update from Ubisoft for the Division. Very, very satisfied with this update. I'll definitely be playing the update on the 12th, although I'll be doing Destiny first. So come hang out in the stream on Tuesday. I'll be going all day and probably most of the night. Should be good. We can talk changes. We can talk new stuff. It'll be fun. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.